Okay, I'm gonna start open my mouth too big, ask a bunch of questions. Uh, Can you tell my viewers why you're doing your Homestead channel?
Why am I doing mine?
Yeah.
Really and truly, why I'm doing mine is my wife and my daughter both said that, since I do the Sunday school lesson on Facebook, they said that I would be a good one to try to do the YouTube channel. And I kind of done it as just just seeing if I could or whatever. And with their support, both of them, that's why I started doing the YouTube channel. It makes it have a different outlook. You get to be able to meet different people, just like I'm meeting with you, and I've met with you at the flea market. I've come to your house now to see the different stuff that you have in your yard, your beautiful flowers, the trees and stuff like that, and it gives you more of an outreach. To me, it makes me be able to have an outreach to be able to talk to people and maybe or even share something. So if they had a question, even about something about the garden, my garden's a little different than yours. Yours is more of a garden of flowers and trees and stuff like that. Even though you have some stuff that you grow vegetables and stuff to eat or whatever, mine is mostly like a bigger garden that I grow to put food away and to have it for another day. I preserve it and do other different things. Not only that, it gives me a chance to run into people who may want to even talk about, a spiritual side, or either they talk to me about my episode that I had 27 years ago now. I was diagnosed with leukemia, went through chemotherapy for 6 months, stayed weak for almost a year and a half, couldn't hardly pick my own arms up. I was weak, and to overcome that and being able to talk to different ones about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, being able to share that I do worship Him first and foremost, put Him first and foremost of everything. Even with starting the YouTube channel, I even prayed about it, make sure that, is this what God wants me to do? Is this what I could do to be pleasing to Him, more or less being pleasing to me or anybody else? That's why I really have done a lot of my YouTube channel. That's why I started it.
I said, I know he been through a lot of stuff. I said, the first time I talked to you, you told me about you have problems. And what I want to do down here too in my channel, that I want to share what first thing what happened. How can you learn things like learn how to move? Because me, I had to learn how to talk again. When I was in the hospital, all I can hear is air coming out of my throat. And it's no sound. They try to tell me to say, or everybody else can hear this air coming out.
Yeah.
And I've been going through a bunch of days therapy, and down here in my throat, they put a track. She said, I'm gonna make it simple for you. He said, you're gonna close your eye one time and that means it's no. And you close your eyes 2 times, that means it's yes. So that's only
That was
way
some
that,
kind of communication
yeah.
that you.
And after that, they gave me some kind of medicines. And one time, I think it was after 2 weeks, they put me on some kind of medicine. And they say they're gonna stick something in my throat to make me cough. But I coughed for a long time. And she said, okay, I'm gonna leave you alone today. I'm coming back tomorrow. And she said, I'm gonna do some kind of massage. So she gave me some kind of massage. And I don't know what she do on the track here. I'll try, but it's only a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So she leave. He said, I'm coming back tomorrow. And I wait down there.
They
I
like
can
coming back every day. Believe me, I understand that.
I can even I don't even want to wait till tomorrow. I said, can she coming back in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
And so I fell asleep. And the next day, when she coming in and she started the same routine, but it was over 2 weeks. They've been working on my throat, and they finally, I don't know what they're doing, but they finally I can like like when somebody else pinches you
Mm-hmm.
and you make that noise like
Mm-hmm.
and she said, can you do that loud? And I closed my eyes 2 times. I know that. And she said, if I close my eyes 2 times, that means it's no. And she told me to keep practice that noise. And not practice for the next 2 hours. And the next day, she do it again. And she said, open your mouth real big. So I opened it. And he said, now try to scream. And I tried it 3 times. Try to scream 3 times. And I can only make a little noise. But the very last one, I'll be able to say, ah, and from there, I keep doing loud and loud and loud and loud. And so I started making noises.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me, you remember the A, B, C, and all that? Then I move my head. I don't close my eyes anymore. I just move my head. Yes. It's A, B, but I say it real low.
Mm-hmm.
Because they still hurts down here. But I be able to say A, B. But I was in a therapy for like 2 months. But I thank God He helped me get through
You
all
got a lot of
this.
people praying for me and you both. That's what I
Yeah.
said. Prayer is a big answer to a lot of things that I had. I had people all over the country praying for me, and I could feel it. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. Um, and I know that's what you had. You had people praying for you, and prayer
Yes.
is a sin. You know, that's where we asking God to do something for us, and we give Him thanks for it. And that's where it comes from. There's a lot of that. Um, during my time, though, I was laid up for 6 months. I had a Hickman catheter installed in my chest that took all my medicine in, and might as well say that kept me alive. I never eat or drank anything for 21 days. Never put anything in my mouth for 21 days. No water, no food, no nothing. These bumps, these knots I got. That's how bad my mouth from the chemotherapy had made my mouth like a scab all the way around. So it
See,
took me a while to get where I could do that.
I don't eat for probably 2 months.
Yeah, the only thing you eat, what was coming through that
Yeah.
tube.
And half of the time, don't even turn it on.
Mm-mm. You could taste it,
Mm.
and it tasted awful, but it kept you alive.
Yeah.
It was nasty. You can, I mean, it would go through your blood, but you could still sense it and taste it. But that's what I said. That's a miracle in itself that me and you both still here. We still here, able to do whatever. God's got a reason and a purpose for me and you both. So if it ain't nothing to do but share on Homestead channels and being able to show pictures and stuff about what you grow and how you even overcome a stroke and come here and work in your yard, you know, that's a lot of people give up. I see you got a willpower that a lot of people should have.
I just have that conversation with my wife last night, and I say, if a lot of people go through 1 year of pain,
Mm-hmm.
I said some people give up on the first month.
That's right.
I said, but I promise myself, I promise God, I promise everyone that praying for me. I said, because all I ask is for people for praying for me.
And they were. That's why
said,
you're
'cause I
sitting here
believe-
today.
I said, I believe prayers got a lot to do with.
Yeah. And that's why I said I even prayed to God, asking me before I started my Hancock Hill Homestead page. You know, I asked him, you know, is this where you want me to do? Is this what you want me to be able to do and sharing, you know, a testimony with somebody? You know, there's a lot of times, and I'm guilty of it too. And that's what I said when they ask us in church or whatever like that, who wants to give a testimony for the Lord? You know, we're a lot of times we're too ashamed or too lazy or too sorry to stand up and give God the praise. So you have to do it when and every chance you can. So that's why even on my YouTube channels, you'll notice that most time I throw something in and giving God the praise, because without Him, we couldn't have nothing. It all belongs to Him to start with. He just lets us use it for a little while.
See, one of my biggest problems, and my wife said I'm too shy. Well, I say I never been in front of a lot of people
Right.
talking on the microphone.
Oh, I have.
I said that's one of my biggest problems.
You can overcome anything if you put your mind to it, just like overcoming a stroke, overcoming cancer, anything like that. It's not going to be easy, no matter what we do. Planting a garden is not easy. Planting trees and bushes in your yard and flowers, it's not easy. It takes work. But so many people don't want to put the work towards it. If you want to survive in this world, you got to work. In the Bible, it says we got to work and be able to eat from the sweat of our brow, from the sweat that we put in. So we gotta put the work into it. God didn't build us to be lazy and lay in the shade all the time. He put us on this earth to work and to be able to put him first and foremost.
Yeah.
So that's what we should do. And then everything else is just pure pleasure, like gardening, planting flowers and trees to make his land a lot more beautiful, really. That's what we do it for, is that. And if we get a little vegetables out of it to eat on the way, then, you know, that's just a true blessing.
Yeah. What do you do on your corn?
On my corn?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing I do with the corn is I try to plant the seeds. I try not to fertilize it too right away. Because if you put too much fertilizer to a small seed that you're planting in the ground, sometimes the fertilizer that we use will hinder growth. It will hinder germination, and it will stop it from coming up or whatever. In other words, in the old-fashioned words of the old days, it burns it up. It just kind of really cooks it to death, and it gets it not to come. But I usually wait and let it get up maybe about 3 inches, and then I put fertilizer to it, and then I use my tractor to loosen the soil around it and kind of roll the dirt to the plant and pray for rain. Now, that's the biggest thing. And then watch it and wait on it to come up. Once it gets up, and I don't put that much fertilizer to it, within the first 2 or 3 weeks. I wait till it gets up, about 6 inches or more. And then I put some good fertilizer to it. And I mean, a lot of people use a lot of organic stuff like that, but I used, sometimes I use the 10-10-10, sometimes I use the 17-17-17, and I have used the 21-0-21. It's just a matter of having your soil samples done, and take a soil sample and carry it and have it tested and analyzed and see what your soil needs. That's the biggest thing. A lot of times we don't know everything that's in the soil without having it tested. And and it's not that it's most expensive. It's less than $10 to have it done. And even though we buy the top grade potting soils and stuff like that, sometimes when we're planting a pot in there, sometimes it still doesn't have everything you need for a vegetable to grow as much as it does a flower. Sometimes flowers don't need a lot of fertilizer or nothing, but vegetables, on the other hand, they do, because you're mostly producing a seed. If you want to make a seed the biggest and the largest and the best that you possibly can do to be able to eat. So that's what I do to my corn. And then, like later on, when it gets up to about maybe a 2 foot tall or less, I try to put some nitrogen to it, because corn's a heavy nitrogen needer, and then I plow it and I don't touch it again, other than maybe a little water or something, and I got a drip hose that I do that with. So
Manure from the horses. That was the only time we put them on the field.
But you had animals, and I don't have any animals except chickens.
He got cows, chickens, turkeys, horses, mules, donkeys.
Yeah. And you're building with that. You're building. I don't mean to cut you off, but you're taking the hay that you feed the animals. They don't eat it all. They waste some and they drop it on the ground, and then they might as well say they pee on it, and then they use the bathroom on it, and you make all the manure. And a lot of people don't look at it as the urine that the horses and the cows and all that adds anything to it, but it does. There's so many minerals in the urine that they do, and it builds up and it makes it stronger. It has an ammonia smell, and you pile it up, then you have compost, and it's really strong. And I don't have all that. All I have is just my little bit, whatever, and I do collect wood chips. I get them from some of the power companies when they come around close by. They trimming limbs and grind them up. I pile them up and let them stay for I got a pile now that's maybe 1.5 years old. A friend of mine, they got a tree service, and they chip them all up and they pile them up in a field out there, and they rot down. They get started rotting, and I borrow a friend of mine's dump trailer, and I go load me up a couple loads, and I bring them to home, and I use that. That's the carbon that you put in the fields, and that's what I do. I put that in my fields, and that's the same thing as like having that manure and stuff you talk about you and your grandpa put out there. But I don't use but very little bit of fertilizer. I don't use heavy. It's very light. So, but I wish I had the stables and stuff like that to be able to clean out to use that, because it would be a lot more cheaper. Yeah, me and my dad has spread it out some turkey litter that some guys had give us, and we put it on the land probably 18 years ago. But you know, now that's a high dollar thing. People don't give that away. You have to buy it now. So it's almost as high as buying a bag of fertilizer. I mean, that's what I said. It's probably a lot better. But the thing of it is, when you have neighbors as close as I do too, the smell makes your neighbors not be so happy either. So so you gotta take one and weigh it with the other. When you don't want your neighbors unhappy, and you don't want to cause a problem for somebody else to have either. So I know that a lot of big farmers, they spread the litter and stuff on their big fields and stuff, and
they do around here.
and then it comes out a big smell, and it stays for several months. It don't go away real quick. I row crop. I use a rotary tiller. I use a tractor with a disc on it. The other thing is I don't use the no-till, because the grass, if you let the grass go, and you know that, it'll overtake your crop.
Yeah.
And then you can't get anything. So I do use my tractor. I do plow. I keep it up. But in the wintertime, I do plant a cover crop. I buy some, it's wheat and rye and oats mixed together. It's in a bag that's usually the clean out of a grain bin. And I buy several bags of that, and I spread that over my whole field in the wintertime. So that puts nitrogen back into the ground and puts more the ground cover, the straw and stuff like that, back into the dirt, and helps to give it more nutrition and stuff. So I don't have to add as much. That same thing is, going and cleaning out the hay stable and stuff like that. The only thing I don't have is the manure, where I get it from the rotten wood chips and stuff.
See down here where there's another thing I plan in the future to get a wood chipper.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get probably my neighbors, or if I clean anytime down here. Sometimes people's looking for a place to dump trailer for limbs.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get a wood chipper, I can tell dump down here and
You can chip them up.
Yep.
Make the wood chips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then if you, a lot of them get them in bags. You see them in the stores in bags and stuff like that. Just like, I think you even told me you worked at Old Castle one time.
Okay, I got another question. How long you been? It's been since you opened your YouTube channel.
Only a few months. I opened it 2 months ago, I think. April. I think I started it in April. That's why I said I started it in April. I forgot what the date. I mean, I can look it up. Trying to see here. It's been in since April, I believe that's right. April 26, 2022. That's when I started it. And it's telling me now that, and then that's why I said it asks you for a description on your YouTube channel when you first started. And I put, this is what mine is: learning life every day. That's kind of a motto I put on my page, and so that way I could see, really and truly it's what I'm doing. I'm learning every day that I am doing something, even learning on YouTube, because I'm learning how to be able to do things that way. And I've looked back at some of yours over several times. Well, hello. How you doing?
You
But,
see what I doing, man. I don't know. You see, and someone say I don't teach anybody. I'm no.
yeah, but you showing
I'm
people
no
what you
professional.
can do. I
I
mean,
try to share what I
yeah,
learned,
yeah.
and I'm the kind of person if I like when I was not able to drive any kind of equipment, I asked the person, how you do this?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, how you made a move? Cause I remember I drive a old tractor with a bucket in front.
Mm-hmm.
I said, how that works?
Yeah, with the
And
handle.
they explained me step by step.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is, you don't realize that you are teaching somebody. Somebody's going one of these days see your post and say, you know, that somebody's had a stroke, and they said, well, if he can do it, then you should be able to do it. You need to watch him. He's an inspiration, telling you that, you know, that he can, if Miguel can do it, then anybody can do it. But you just got to encourage yourself.
Yeah, that's sorry I interrupt you.
You're all right.
Um, I look at this way. Because I have one physical issue, that don't mean I have to start.
Mm-hmm.
I think they push me to the point to say I needed to do it. This. I tell my wife I can't just sit on a chair. I say I get more tired sit on a chair than coming outside and working a little bit.
That's right.
I say if I just coming outside, just walking down here, come and look the plants, pull little weeds, go back inside the house, take a break, coming outside again. If I can do that 5 times a day, I said that'd be my exercise.
Well, you got another one. Then you try in a few. You figure in another month or two, then you can do it 7 times.
Yeah.
And see, that's what they told me when I was in the hospital. They said either you can lay in this bed. My doctor, Dr. Papa, he told me, he said you either lay in this bed and die, or you can get up and start walking and heal yourself. You got to have the willpower to get up to go and do. He said you got to start eating, whether you like it or not. And that was the hardest thing, is learn how to taste food again, and being able to get up and walk. I made 4 steps the first time I got up out of bed after 31 days, right at 31 days. Well, it was about 28 days, but because I got out of the hospital 3 days later and come home for a very short time, then turned around and went back in the hospital. But you got to get up and move. And that's why I told you earlier, you know, God put us on this earth to work, to do things, to move around.
What I take a trip to Lowe's yesterday, and I said, people think that man is not too old. He's still strong. So we asked for help
Yeah.
to load the bags on the
Yeah.
car. I said, people don't realize I have a big shoulder down here
Yeah.
and don't have a bone flap on my right side.
So when did you got to go back and have surgery for it?
I'm gonna wait on that
Are you?
because this time that I stayed 4 months in the hospital, it really got me scared.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the difference
Yeah.
in this side, and this side is normal,
Yeah.
but this side is like more deep than here. And you see, it looks like a regular hair, but it's helmet.
Yeah, I see it's got it on the inside. You got to have something to protect you.
Yeah. Try to get other one that you got something down here go under your chin.
Yeah.
Just in case I fall,
Fall.
the it still stay there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You see all my videos.
I watched a lot of them. I seen a lot of posts that your wife posts on Facebook because me and her's friends on Facebook, and I've been seeing your posts for a long time. Some when you were in the hospital, when you were in, just came out of surgery and stuff like that too. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of them.
The whole time I was in the hospital, I hear hugs. And a day before I come home, I see 2 hogs on the window on the 11th floor, looking in the window. And I tell my wife, I said, I believe the guy sent the birds down there to tell me it's time to go home.
That's right.
I said, because they're really looking like a person, when somebody try to sneak looking in the window,
Yeah.
they're really acting like a person. They move their head, I'm moving the bed, and they see me moving, and they move their head,
Yeah.
try to see me.
Well, God created the birds of the air just like He did the fish of the sea, so they belong to Him. We just got to believe. That's the thing it is. We got to believe and trust in what God can do, and that's one thing. He can do all things but one. That's fail. He can't fail at nothing. And I believe that.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
Because I thank God every day for brought me these 4.
Well, hello. You back again?
And to prove the doctors wrong.
Yeah.
I think I
That's
remember.
a good feeling sometimes, to prove that doctors don't know everything. Even my doctor told me with my cancer, he said, he told me that we probably wouldn't have children, but 6 months after I took my last chemo, we got pregnant with my son. And, even he then told me, he said, we don't know everything. He said, we just know what the scientific side. We don't know what God can do. He said, God can do everything that we can't do. So I had a real good doctor. I mean, real spiritual man, real caring.
Okay, I always thought you see in my videos of what I doing in gardening. Cause like I say, I'm not teaching anybody. I just share what I learned from somebody. I learned something every time I ask people. I learn something different.
Well, you don't see yourself as a teacher, but what you learn and you sharing.
That's what I say.
And you being a teacher.
I share it.
Yeah, and you being a teacher, as you sharing it, you being a teacher. You got some big babies.
5 years old. Well, on my garden, the UCE, anytime I do wrong or...
I can't say yay or nay, but the thing of it is, anytime you gardening, it's going to be a trial. You're going to try it. If it don't work, then you try something different. That's like us. We had to learn, me and my wife, we had to really educate ourselves on tomatoes, because we had tomatoes there and we got where we were just hating it because we would put all that work in and not get but just 2 or 3 tomatoes. And it was just like, why are we putting up with all this if we're not doing anything? So we had to study, figure out what it was. And one thing is, you can't buy tomato plants because you don't know what type of tomato plant that is. So you have to buy the seed and plant your own tomatoes and try to grow. Same way it is with the squash, the corn, the okra, the peas. I mean, all those things you got to learn from it. You got to trial and error. You do one time, you do whatever. You're gonna learn from what you didn't do right this year. You're gonna try to improve it next year. It's hard to say because I just started doing raised beds myself. That's what I said. I don't know what to tell you except just keep trying. Don't give up. Just keep trying.
He said it.
Same way I do with my peas and what I do with tomatoes. Take a good ripe tomato and lay it over to the side of the kind that you like. Lay it to the side and peel you save to let it dry up and then bust it open and rake it through your hands and save the seeds that way. The corn, you save all the seeds, you peel the ends of it off. You don't want them little kernels and bad kernels. You want all the good kernels. Peas, same way. You wait till the hulls dry and you go out and pick them off and you either put them in a bag and beat them around or stomp on them or whatever, and then you pour them through, pour them out and then pour it through another bucket and into another bucket with the wind blowing or a fan. And that's what I do. I save my seed. That's the same way a combine does. It cuts the stems, then it goes up in there, and then it beats it around, and then it separates the pods and the leaves and everything else on the seed. Because the seeds are heavy, they'll fall to the bottom. And same way the combine works. It's just more modern. Costs a lot more money than the old days.
I tell him we just learned it the hard way. He said, "Can you imagine if every time be so easy in life?" He said, "If every time it's so easy, you don't learn nothing." Well, I really appreciate it that you coming.
You're welcome.
I really enjoy talking to you today. And I really appreciate it if you give me any advice what I need to do different or what you see.
We should be sharing information because you got things I need and I got stuff I can show you. So I think we got a friendship that'll go on for a long time, so I don't see why we can't. I like the way you got certain things around here. You got the beds and stuff like that, and it gives it a nice cool area. It cools it down, so when you're walking around, you got a cool spot to be able to cool off in instead of being hot all the time.